So, I am here to introduce one of my 2 vlogs for July, which is, I have decided, since July is my birth month, like my birthday month, I am going to read one book from the 90s for every year I've been alive. So, I have 5 books here that I'm intending to read. I was born in 1995, and so the one I found for 1995 was Only for You by Hannah Howell. It's a historical romance, and it has he's either shirtless or he's naked. I can't see the bottom half of him. He's definitely shirtless, but I don't know if he's actually naked. But yeah, 1995 was an interesting time. Most of the covers that I found looked like this. So, I didn't really have a debate on what I was reading for that. And then, for 1996, this is the only one that I could find at my library. Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I have read Neil Gaiman before. The only one of his I've actually loved, is Coraline. But, yeah, this one is... I'm pretty sure that my older sister has suggested this book to me a few times. It's basically a different version of London. Under the streets of London lies the world most people could never dream of. Yeah. So I'm going to go more into what these are about as I get to their segment of the video. But yeah, so this hits 1996. And then 1997... I have My Soul to Keep by Tananarive. And this is the first book in a series. I don't know if I'll continue the series, but it's interesting to know. I don't think I've ever actually read something by this author before. Okay, there's not much on the back. Jessica is an African-American journalist, as ambitious as she is bright. She's chasing the biggest story of her life, a story that strikes closer to home than she knows. DeWatt is an immortal whose ancient thirst for wisdom leads him to break the first commandment of his kind, not to fall in love. Together, they're about to pay the ultimate price for their ambition and their desire. So yeah, this one sounds like it's going to be interesting. I can't quite tell from that where this is going, but I am intrigued. And then for 1998, I found a Danielle Steele book, The Clone and I by Danielle Steele. So, this one is about this woman. She is dating a man, and then she meets his clone. So then it becomes a story between the 3 of them. Like, her, the actual man, and the clone. And then, for 1999, I have The Other Daughter by Lisa Gardner. If you can't trust your family, then who can you trust? This one is about this girl, Melanie. She wakes up in the hospital, and she can't remember the first 9 years of her life, and... When Melanie wakes up in the hospital, all she knows is that she can't remember any of the first 9 years of her life, and no one is there waiting for her. And then she gets adopted by the doctor. So she gets adopted by the doctor who treats Melanie, and after 20 years of a happy family life, her past is suddenly under investigation when a reporter and FBI agent comes into the mix. And then she starts getting horrific messages and gifts, and Melanie is forced to face the terrifying reality that her family may not be the last people. Maybe the last people she can trust. So yeah, these are my books for this video. Hold on, I'm going to put my microphone down so I can hold these up. yeah, so... Yeah, so the plan is to read these 5 books to celebrate my 31 years on Earth by reading a book for every year of the 90s that I have been alive. And I will take you guys, and I'm taking you guys along on the journey with me. Alright. So that's it for this intro, and I will see you when I start reading one of these books. Hello. So we're going with this angle because I can't be bothered setting up my tripod or moving the camera. But I am now 141 pages into Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, which is my book for 1996 for this video. So, yeah, I figured since I was over 100 pages in, I would give you my thoughts that I had about it. So this book is essentially about this man called Richard. He has a perfectly normal life until he decides to help this random girl or woman who is bleeding on the side of the road. He takes her back to his apartment to get cleaned up, and he protects her from these guys who turn up, and he assumes they're going to kidnap her. But yeah, anyway, it turns out they're assassins, and so he gets her the help and she leaves. But then after this interaction, he starts to not exist in this world anymore. Like, his work doesn't know he exists. The woman his fiancée, who up until the day that he saved this woman was with him, doesn't know him. His apartment's up for sale. So he essentially doesn't exist in this London anymore. So he is now on the hunt to find this girl named the girl who he saved in the first place, to find out what's going on. And he does find her. He is from London above, and it turns out he goes back down to London below. And he can't go back up to London above because he does not exist in that world anymore, like, at all. And so, yeah, he was essentially initially left by most of the guys in this world, until Dor realizes that he wouldn't be in this mess if he hadn't helped her in the first place. So she decides to let him come with them. And yeah, that's where I'm up to that's relatively where I'm up to in this story. There's also some talking rats in it. And yeah, that's where I'm at in the story. It's pretty good so far. But I do like Neil Gaiman's writing, so yeah, we'll see where this goes, and I will check back in when I have something else to say. Bye. Hello. So I have finished Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I quite enjoyed this one. I think the last time I spoke to you, I was 100 pages in. Yeah, I've now finished it. The way that the story goes is Richard has his adventures in London below, and then he goes back to other London, and he is suddenly remembered. And he has his job back, his ex-fiancée remembers him, and he gets upgraded to a better apartment because they accidentally sold because he convinced them that they accidentally sold his apartment out from under him. Yeah, but then, as he's back into this other life, he realizes that he doesn't want this boring life anymore. So he wants to go back to the London below, where he just had these adventures and he was so desperate to get away from. So, yeah, he ends up back at London. So he ends up going back down to London Below. This book is a series, so it will continue. But I don't think I'm going to continue it. I'm giving this a 3.5. So I liked it, but I don't like it enough to continue the series any further than this one. And yeah, there was a lot of like religious stuff in it, which I didn't like so much. But overall, I'm glad I read it. And that is 1996 ticked off my list for this video. And I will see you when I pick up the next one for whatever year I pick up next. Bye. So, I was going to settle under the blanket to read more of my 1995 book, but this little shit is just taking up all the space, so I can't bring the blankets up. So, I will lie here and read this book anyway, but I'm not going to be able to do it in the warmth, so I won't be able to be as cozy as I want it to be until this little shit decides to move. But I don't have the heart to move her because she's purring and so happy. But yeah, so I am going to read more of the book I'm reading for 1995. And we're going to deal with this. Eventually I'll get cozy, but for right now, this little shit is just making it so that I can't get cozy under the blanket. Hello! So, I have finished Only for You. You guys would have seen it in the B-roll clip that I filmed on my phone. But, yep, this was for 1995, which was the year that I was born. And this is about these two characters. You got Saxon and Botolph. Botolph? I don't know. Yeah, so they're the two, they're the two, romantic leads of this story. And they end up in, meeting when Saxon gets a message that her twin brother was attacked after defending Botolph. But what she wasn't told was that her twin brother didn't die. He just got injured, but was going to live. She didn't know that, so she stormed up and attempted to kill this guy. And there were parts of this that did make me chuckle. I'm not gonna lie. Like the scene after all of that comes out. I actually took a photo of that because I don't write in my books or annotate, but I did take a photo of it to talk to you guys about it here. Let me just find it really quick. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so so Saxon essentially, I'm just going to read the quotes because the whole scene's quite funny. Just let me hit her the once, protested. I took the Ken Elm. The shrew bit me. Now, you know you cannot bloody her nose, Edric said calmly. She is a girl. And then Saxon comes in and says, well, there is naught to stop me from bloodying his, and then she punches him in the face. And the idea, that whole scene really cracked me up. Because she's like, fuck it, you guys are absolute morons. I'm just going to just punch you straight in the face. But yeah, I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was partly about the romance between Saxon and Botolph, but there was also an evil twin plot in there. Evil twin trying to overthrow the king and take their place as king. I felt like I was reading The Lion King. And yeah, but I did end up enjoying this. I gave it 4 stars. And I will now go into the other one that I have an update for, if Little Miss will... Alright, yeah, Little Miss is there. Yes, hello. If you're in here, you're going to say hi to the vlog before you settle into... If you're taking the spot, you're going to say hi to the vlog really quick. Say hello. Say hello. Alright, I'll put you down. Okay, and now my microphone's going. Alright. Yep, and she's not running away. Anyway, this one I picked up for $19.99, and this is The Other Daughter by Lisa Gardner. I thought this book was fine. I was really into it at the beginning, like I was all in. But I just felt like it went on for a bit too long. You know, it's 400 pages, and I felt like... No, because she'd pretty much kind of led us... The author had pretty much kind of led us to what the truth by about page 300, and she, like, dragged it out for another 100 pages. Plus, there was a romance in here that didn't really seem needed. The point of this was a mystery about this girl's past, and yet we're getting a romance thrown in. So yeah, I ended up giving this a 3 stars. I'm not going to be keeping it. But yeah, for this one, you've got Melanie, who is adopted by this couple. Yeah, who was adopted by this couple who have just lost their 4-year-old daughter. And so they adopt Melanie as a second chance. I did kind of pick the twist to this book about halfway through. Well, sort of. I picked one of them, not the other. And, yeah, so I do want to try one of her books again. I just feel like this one was, like, unnecessarily long. I might have rated it higher if it was, like, 100 pages shorter and this random romance wasn't thrown in. So, yeah. Overall, it was fine. I'm glad I read it. But it doesn't need to stay in my library. And I will check back in when I have something to say about my next book. Bye. Hello. So we are going to have to deal with the lighting as it is, because the lighting in here, in this room, can actually be quite atrocious. And it's miserable outside. But I just wanted to do a quick wrap up for this video that was meant to come up in July, but it didn't. But it's the 1st of August, so I got pretty close. But yeah, so I did finish The Clone and I by Danielle Steele. I thought this was fine. I gave it a 2. Wasn't anything special, but yeah, I did read it. This is about this woman, and her husband goes away, and she sends this clone of himself to keep her company. And so it's kind of a relationship between her and both the clone and her actual boyfriend. And yeah, it was fine. Nothing special. And the last one that I was picking up was My Soul to Keep by Tana Narib. This was a DNF. I read 64 pages. I can't tell you anything about what happened in them. So we're going to say that one was a fail. And I can finally wrap up this video. So yeah, this experiment, it didn't really go all that well, but I tried, and we'll see what happens in August, but I'll catch you in whatever comes next. Bye!